I guess this is important too. You know, you have to put paint on a small palette so you don't have to. Generally, I use the big palettes, see, but when I had to stand up and also many details, you know, I just use the little one and carry it with me, see.
What's your theory about the colors? You were telling me the last time that you don't like to mix them.
I'm sorry?
You were telling me the last time you don't like to mix your colors, you use them full strength.
Yeah, I don't, yeah. Years ago I used to mix color, but after teaching color half of my life, or more, 3/4 of my life, I don't mix, I just do it direct.
Why?
Van Gogh-esque, see? I sort of feel today that white, mixing white or black, takes the luminosity of color away, you know, the freshness and the clarity of color, because, you know, sometimes people don't realize color is really light. See, like, you know, put a bright blue, you see it because the light, you know, God's light mixes with it, and you see the brightness or the dullness or the grayness, you know, whatever.
Color's always been one of your favorite topics, though, hasn't it?
Well, yes. Well, I guess so. After I must have taught it for at least, I don't know, 42 years, you know. And in that time, basically I started by what I learned at Pratt Institute. At that time, Pratt Institute was one of the best in the world, you know, simply because I had excellent instructors. You know, there's one person, I must say, one person, his name is Alexander Costello. He was today an Iranian, but he was Persian, you know, he used to call himself a Persian. He was an artist, painter, colorist, see, and by the way, when he got the job to teach at Pratt Institute, this is kind of important, you know, because it's so part of CCAD in a way. He and another person were up for the job. The other person was Joseph Albers. You know, he's an internationally known painter. See, but Joseph Albers did not get the job. Alexander Costello got the job at Pratt Institute to teach color, see, over Joseph Albers. Yet somehow Joseph Albers, you know, went to Yale, University of Yale. You know, Joseph Albers wrote the book on color, and you know, that he made himself, you know, quite a name for himself, you know, as a painter and writer in color. But one thing about Alexander Costello that taught at Pratt Institute, he taught it in a way where it was, you know, manipulative. You know, the way you handle color, the way it's you know, it processed to paint with. You know, it's not just a naming thereof. You know, I'm afraid I sort of feel that Joseph Albers only did it more from a point of view, almost more from the academic point of view. They just talked about it. See, but Alexander's at Pratt Institute, you know, they weren't satisfied just to talk. He said, now do it, put it in process, you know, handle it, manipulate, see. And that's the way he taught it, and I think it was tremendous, because by doing so, you get into the spirit, you see, the feeling of color, and that's what you had to do in color. To really know, you had to feel it. You got to learn how to feel it, see. That's why I talked about light. Light, without light you see no color, But then when light becomes so important, you see, and one thing is I always give my old teacher so much credit, because he was sometimes was more of a philosopher than he was an artist. He spoke in terms of always in conceptual attitudes. He said, look, he would say, look at yellow. Hey, what is it? What is it? Most people say, well, it's a yellow. But no, yellow is a light color. It's lightness. It's brilliance. See, yellow, is more iridescence with light. See, and it says red. They say it would say, well, red. As a matter of fact, I realized this myself. Like a deep red. I said, well, that's no color. I used to tell my students, watch out for red. He said, it's no color. Make it lighter. Make it light. Let light go into it. See, and red brightens, becomes part of the thing. This is the kind of thing you should learn about color. Otherwise you can just go to a paint store, get one of those circular schemes of colors, so look at it, name it. What the hell will that do? Nothing. Anybody can do that. But an artist has to feel, how yellow goes against a blueness or a greenness or grayness. See, it's actually the same thing with design, which I hope I can talk about some other time. See, now, I'm talking too much and I'm forgetting about the color. Bit of this. The old purple. There's so many kinds of purple. Usually purple is, some people think of purple as one color, but there are so many feelings of purples, as there are of yellow, as there are of reds, color. See, oh yeah, I used to tell kids in painting class, years ago. I used to say, now look, put the color on a palette, but don't look at the color only. See, look at what value it is, because the lightness and darkness of color is so important. You see, that's most important. You see, look at it first. Realize and become part of that. That feeling of what it is, look at it against blueness, against greenness, against grayness. See? Then you can tell what it is. It's just like a circle. People say, well, that's a circle. Oh, that's easy. That's a circle. Nah, that's no. Circle is not a circle. Circle is a feeling of circularity. See. How do you know? Yeah, because you put it up against triangularity. What's triangularity? You say, look, do you ever hear a waltz? Music, in music, it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's entirely different as 1, 2, 3, 4. See, in music it's more immediate, but in color it's there. You got to feel it to know it, see? So that's what circle is, circularity. And then you go on to the rectangularity, you see? Why? Because it's not triangularity, you see? It's always a comparison, you see? That's the way you realize, it comes like the symphony of design and color, see? Oftentimes I used to have students ask me, he says, how do you know? How do you know when the design is done? I can't tell. I said, what kind of music do you like? I used to always refer to music. Usually, those kids, a lot of them got marbles in their head. They don't listen to anything but boom, boom, boom. and nothing but rock and roll. Rock and roll is good. Some of it. A little bit of it. See? But too much of it, I used to tell them, say, you know, don't move your head. You're going to hear the marbles. I started listening. I said, who listens to symphony once in a while? You know, one hand or two hands, you know, will get up. I said, well, thank you. I said, that's nice of you to do that, you know. But that's the way it is. It's always that conceptual feeling and direction and comparison, see. I remember having the first design teacher I ever had was absolutely miserable. Miserable. I was out of high school. I didn't know, you know. But, you know, after a couple of months of it, I used to say, jeez, what the heck is going on? Man, I'm not learning anything. He used to say, all right, cut out a triangle. You know, now cut a circle out. Now put them together. And we put them together. We didn't know what the heck we were doing, you know. But when Costlow came around, he says, you know, he said, this is triangularity. This is a waltz, 1, 2, 3, 4 feeling, you know. This is the character. It's not a square. A triangle is you know, angles of 3, not 4. It's not a free shape. You see, there's an entirely different attitude. The attitude is conceptual thinking, digging into, you know, the feeling of the matter. You know, that's the kind of stuff, you know, that makes it. And that's, by the way, the basic principle that we inundated the foundation program at CCAD. See? That's the kind of stuff we try to put out to get the kids involved conceptually. See, we could talk about that maybe next time, see. But I haven't done with the color yet, and I'm going to have to forget about the color. Let's see, I did purple, blue. Yeah, that's okay. I can do a little bit of work with that.